Hey, good evening everyone, and sorry for the delay in starting. Just setting up a colour camera this time rather than the normal mono camera. Hey Tom, Samurai and Big W, Little W. The skies aren't looking brilliant, but I've managed to pick up a reference star, ISAR. I'm just going to slew over to Arcturus, I hope. If you can see just in the middle there, that's ISAR. The views are going to be slightly different with this camera. The sizes are going to look different, and that should be Arcturus there. Not as bright as I seem to remember it. Right, that'll do for that one. Right, it's very cloudy at the moment here, so I'm not sure how successful we're going to be. And you can see by the screen how light it is, even though it's dark outside. That's how light it is, and I think we're seeing through the clouds to pick up Arcturus. So we're just going to have to wait for a little while for it to get properly dark, and then I'm going to be monitoring the clouds. According to weather, I've got about an hour and a half, 2 hour window. So we should be able to slew over and have a look at M61, and hopefully be able to pick out the supernova. Something a little bit different as well this evening. So we're going to be doing it in colour. The camera does have a few hot pixels that aren't stars. I think that's one there. That's definitely one there. Because this is a digital SLR, and I think that's a hot pixel there, bottom. And move that out of the way. So expand. That's the full view. But we've got to wait for it to get properly dark before we can really find any targets. So at the moment, we're just waiting for darkness to fall. The breeze has dropped. There was a breeze earlier on, so the scope shouldn't move too much this time. Right, M3 is just above where we're looking at the minute. That's a cluster. So I'll just slew over to that, and we'll see if we can pick up a cluster. You can see that pixel's not moved, and that one's not moved, and that one's not moved. So they're definitely hot pixels. I'll just slip that out of the way and go to an image. All we're doing is a test capture at 1 second to see if we can pull anything out. I think we'll go for 2 seconds, and in fact now we'll bring the ISO up to 1600, drop that back down to 1 second and start again. Right, this type of imaging just relies on the SLR, the digital SLR. So it's a matter of utilising. That's way too much. So I'll drop the ISO down to 400. It's about using your knowledge on the digital SLR camera as compared to the settings and the tweaking of a Astro camera. And I can't see any clusters or anything there. I can't see anything there yet. Frame and focus. This is the equivalent of a live view through the camera. You can see the screen updating, and this is automatic. ISO 25600 f5, and it's in bulb mode. This is one of those cameras that it has to be perfectly dark to get anything like an exposure, and I've got to relearn everything that I used to do with this, because this was one of my first cameras that I used for astronomy. The software is new, so that's going to be another thing that I've got to get used to. And at the moment I'm just monitoring the screen for movement. And we are actually looking through quite a layer of clouds at the moment. If I step outside, I can't see any stars whatsoever. Now it's looking a bit bland out there. Going back to Arcturus, and that's Arcturus, so at least we know the go-to is pretty reasonable. M3 is magnitude 5, and it wasn't picking that up very much at all. So what's let's go and have a look at M13. Another cluster. If I can find a break in the clouds, we can concentrate on what's in that area, because the clouds don't seem to be moving very fast at all. Something there. Take it up ISO 800 and do it again. Right. A single image from this camera is about 25 megapixels in size, and the mono camera that we were using in previous streams, that's about 1.2 megapixels. So the detail within this one, although improved, uses up a lot of the colour to make up the file size. So it's the colour data that makes the file size so large. And here's the buttons I like pressing. The sweet spot for this camera is ISO 1600. It's the best sensitivity for the least amount of noise, because with this not being a cooled camera, it generates a lot of electrostatic noise, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to some decent dark sky. Somewhere on this image is supposed to be M13, a globular cluster, but right, we'll do another exposure on this one. See if that's a star or a hot pixel. Yep, that's a star. We've got a little bit of drift. So in theory, if I can drop this down a little bit, there should be some stars on that screen. Which I can't see. Oh, there's a few. So I need to go up a bit. So we're just waiting for the darkness to arrive, and I can still quite clearly see details on the roofs of the nearby houses. So I think we've got at least another half an hour. If you look at the histogram just here, all three colours should line up when we've got a decent image. But because the sky being so blue, it stretched the histogram and put the blue hard over to the right. That first line just there is the sweet spot for the camera. So if we reset it, we need to get everything exposed so it sits on this line just here. And at the moment this is 2-second exposures and we're not picking anything up, it's still too light. But digital SLR is an absolute excellent way to get into astro imaging, especially if you've already got one, because the most popular ones, Sony, Nikon, Canon, they've all got adapters for sale that can adapt them, remove the lens and adapter fitted, so they fit onto your telescope eyepiece. So you remove the eyepiece and you insert the camera with the adapter into the eyepiece socket and focus it as if you'd we're just looking through the eyepiece, and it's helpful if your camera's got live view, or like this software here, Backyard EOS. There's Backyard Nikon as well, so there's a Nikon version, and I do believe they're working on a Sony version. There's a free option of this with a few features removed, but the price for this is about £30, and it is really good. And for that £30 you get a year of updates. I'll do another capture. You see how the spectrum's moving to the left slightly? That's the previous picture. That's the latest picture. They're slowly creeping over to the left. So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for it to move all the way across here, so we can have a look at the target, wherever it is. It's the most frustrating part. This is waiting for the skies to clear. There we go, getting some stars coming through, and the spectrum's moving across a little bit. See if I can tweak the stars out in the background. I'm not sure if you can see them on your screen, but we're actually looking for quite a dense cluster, and the sky is not completely dark. They're dust bunnies. That's their bits of dust on the sensor of the camera. Because you have to remove the lens to fit the adapter, you do expose it to the atmosphere, and you do get little bits of dust particles on it that causes those. Easy to remove, pain in the posterior, but one of the things that you just can't avoid. Right, starting to see a few stars. Reset that. Let's do another. We're only doing 2-second exposures at the moment, because I'm waiting for all this spectrum to move over to the left. And if you watch where this blue moves from, because every 5 minutes it gets a little bit darker. There we go, look, it's moving a bit more to the left. Makes you want to keep firing off exposures. Right, every single image is stored on the memory card in the camera, and also sent down to here from the observatory, so we can have a look at what we're actually capturing. Right, I'm just going to try and slew across to Mizar, a double star. So you can pick Mizar out of the background. Just go to focus and framing. Now that's looking a little bit better because I'm seeing stars flash by. Right, that little double star just here at the bottom, that's Mizar. The larger one is Mizar. So that's a this is a lot clearer piece of sky actually. So we just bring that into the reticle a little bit. This zoom area at top right hand of the screen gives you a close-up of what's in that main target area. It's broidened for focusing. So I'll just put in fine focus, see if we can there, that'll do, that's pretty focused. Right, let's try something a little bit more challenging while we're waiting for the skies to darken. See if anybody recognises this from a few nights ago. If it picks up. Right, go to imaging and we'll do just one exposure, just see if it picks up, see what we need. Nah, it's still not dark enough yet. Right, 3-second exposure. Let's see what we can get with this. If you look at the histogram, we want it moving to the left. And that's gone the wrong way. Let's just reset everything. It's just not dark enough yet. Just not dark enough. When we do get up and running, I'm going to be using that live stacking software, which will make the images really intense without too much tweaking. Struggling with the light. Try one more. This target normally needs about 8 to 10 seconds. No, nothing yet. Let's pop over and have a look at a different target. we're starting to get the darker skies now. This is why the best seasons for astronomy is the winter season. You get cool, cold, still air and a lot of dark skies. You've got about another 20 minutes, half an hour before the sky gets usable. I wasn't expecting to get the software up and running correctly. That's why I started the stream a little bit early, just to get the settings dialed in. Because this software is a couple of generations newer than what I used last time when I was using this camera. I'll have another go. And the other thing, running on batteries. I'm not sure the state of the battery, even though it says full charge. I'm not sure how good a condition those batteries are in. Yeah, we're starting to pick up a lot more stars now. Let's try a 4-second exposure. Yeah, when we get to 10 seconds, then we know we're getting into a pretty good area for proper searching. Right, this is probably going to go way over the top. Yeah, we're starting to pick up a bit more of a star field now. We're watching for that blue moving to the left. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm starting to pick up a lot more stars. Right, I'm slewing across back to the other target. Landed. Slowly moving into the right direction. With it being a full frame sensor, the actual image from the telescope's concentrated more to the centre of the sensor. The vignetting on the corners can be taken out with dark frames, but I don't think I'll bother with that this evening, because all we're doing is just trying to get some images of a supernova, and we'll stack live and they'll be reduced as the stacking proceeds. Let's go to 10 seconds, see if we can pick something out. I don't think we're going to get anything really dark this evening. That's the core of what's on this what we targeted on at the moment. That little blob there is the core of a galaxy. But at the moment, I don't think we're going to be able to pull anything out because of the state of the darkness. It's still too light. See if there's anything else nearby that might be bright enough to have a look at. Right, M61's just past the meridian, so I've got to do a flip. So I'll just go over, see if I can pick up Denobula, and then we'll reset from there. Go back to live frame and focus. I think that star that just went off screen is the one we want. See if I can bring it back in. There we go. Let me synchronise on that one. Just for a reference, we'll go to Regulus, see if we can pick Regulus up. Then we'll know we're pretty much good for a go-to. So a star should appear somewhere in the middle of that area. There we go, that's Regulus. I'll just zoom that into the middle and synchronise with that one. Right, synchronised. Right, we'll swing over to the galaxy, M61 Spiral Galaxy. It's magnitude 9.65, but the supernova is a significant chunk brighter, and it should be easy to pick out. Right, there we go. Let's go back to imaging and let's just do a test image. Right, where's that blue going to go? That's better. We should be able to see the supernova before we pick out the galaxy. And with it being a spiral galaxy, it'll look quite impressive when we stack a few frames of it. Right, I'm just having a look round, see if I can pick up any signs of the galaxy. I'm just going to do a slight tweak on focus as well. Just moved up to a 12-second exposure, see if we can pick anything out. Went wrong way with focus. Right, it's getting better. The histogram's starting to move in the right direction. But it's still too bright to pick up a Mag 9 galaxy. At the moment. Right, this will burn out straight away, 17 seconds when it's this bright. So I'll pre-tweak that down. Ah, is that better? Is the sound working now? Ah, right. Sorry about that. It's what happens when you've got a big bucket of tea. Right. I think that's the centre of the galaxy. That's the 3 stars. I think. Let's just see if we can tweak it down a bit. That looks pretty similar. Food. Okay. Daughter's made a toad in the hole with 14 sausages. So she's going to need my assistance to dispose of them. Right, try another exposure. Right. This one should bring in a little bit. See, we're waiting for this histogram to move to the left because all the light is spread out so much that it's just swamping the sensor. So we need the light to reduce, and just need it to compress. So it's moving ever so slightly, and it doesn't normally get all the way across till quite late. But I'm hoping to be able to pick some of the background stuff out. Pardon me? Okay, be there in a minute. In fact, I'll come now. Right, guys, I'll just put that on another exposure. I've got to go and help cut up these 14 sausages. They've all merged into one big dinner, and if she can't separate them, she's got to eat them all herself. I'll be back in literally a couple of minutes. If I leave these exposures looping, you'll be able to see anything that comes in before I do. Just tweak this down a bit. I've lost that blooming reference now. I'm going to have to set it up so I can let one of you take control of the screen, like screen sharing. There it is. Right. I'm switching the mic off, but I'll remember this time. And I'm just going to dish up dinner. Back very, very shortly. Right, sorry about that. Back. Let's have a look. Starting to get properly dark now. So 25 seconds. Draw that down a bit. I've actually lost where the galaxy centre was, and me tweaking about. Not that one. Right, let's stop this loop, and then we'll do a full 30-second exposure. Right, aborting that run. The histogram's starting to look a little bit better. It's moving over to the left. Right, let's just do one more. I might just hop over to a different star just for a reference, just to make sure we've not drifted off anywhere. Does look like we've drifted out a little bit. Pardon me. I'm going to shoot back to Denobula and just make sure we're still lined up. Yeah. Well, that's Denobula, so we're pretty much where we're supposed to be. There's Juno going by, a dwarf planet. We might just pop over to that for a second, because that should be relatively easy to pick up the movement on it. But we'll just go back to the spiral galaxy, the M61. There we go, we've landed. Go back to imaging, and we'll start a 25-second exposure again, see what we can pull out this time. It's frustrating because we know it's there, the skies aren't quite dark enough, and the camera is dragging all the data in, and it's just overwhelming the sensor. Well, picking up the star field all right, but the galaxy being Mag 9.65 is proving very elusive. I do believe it's that one there. Right, I'll try a 30-second exposure. And if we can't identify it this time, we'll just pop over to that dwarf planet Juno, and we'll just get a few images of that moving through the star field. We could be also fighting the clouds as well. Right, bear with me. We are going to go to Juno. That should be easy to pick out, and we should get movement on that quite easily. Right, see if this picks up any star field. I really do suspect this is cloud we're trying to see through, and that's why we're not picking up anything of any significance. That's cloud. Bear with me, I'm just going to stick my head outside and see if we're going to have an issue with the weather. Bear with me. Right, you'll be happy to know we don't need a weatherman to predict what I'm about to say. The stars we're actually picking up are coming through quite a dense fog, cloud bank. So I doubt very much we're going to be able to pick out anything beyond a mag 5 or a 6. It is absolutely grim out there. Wish I had an all sky camera so I could actually show you. Right, if I get this delirium up, there's a little bit of a gap. See if I can head over to the gap. Southwest-ish. And we'll see if there's anything in the southwest that might be pick-upable. Blimey. Right, we'll just head over to Doobie. Let's see if we can find that as a reference star. You see, in my past experience of using this camera, as we're slewing across, we'd be seeing thousands upon thousands of stars flashing by on this screen. And that is Doobie, and that's not too far out from what I'm after. And this is a magnitude 2 star, so it should be like a searchlight in the middle of the screen. So that has come right through the cloud bank. So I'm just going to go to Cigar Galaxy and see if we can pull that out of the murk. Yeah, it's looking quite grim out there, so I'm not expecting anything spectacular this evening. In fact, I'm quite disappointed because my forecast said I should have about 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours of clear sky. But it's not looking that way, is it? That's pure cloud cover, that is. And that's where I thought the gap was. We'll just do a 25 per second exposure, see if we can pull the galaxy through it. But it's not looking very promising for anything this evening. Such is the ups and downs of astrophotography. If you look at the spectrum on the histogram, it was all moving over in the right direction, but when you get the clouds, it's all spreading it all back. So the light coming in is diffused through the clouds, and that's why it's all spreading back down there. Let's see if we can. I think there's that bit of the galaxy there, but we're not going to pull anything meaningful out of this. No. Well, it's a disappointing evening. I don't think there's many more breaks in the cloud, and as you can see, this is a cloud. And as for what we're going to be doing from now until, I'll just tell you what, I'm just going to drag up the weather forecast and see how we're standing. It's completely changed. Look, it was supposed to be clear till about midnight, 10:30 till midnight, and now it's gone to 72 to 89% cloud cover. We're not even going to be able to see the ISS. Wind speeds well within tolerances, and if we have a look for the rest of the week, what's going to be our best night? Wednesday night from 7 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning. You've got a 12-hour window there, so that might be worth having a go at. And there's virtually no moon. Thursday there's no moon, so Tuesday night onto Wednesday. Sorry, that's Wednesday. Yeah, so Wednesday evening from 7 o'clock. But if you look at the blue band, it tells you when it gets dark. We've got no proper darkness till after 11 o'clock. So if I start the stream about 10 o'clock, we might be able to get a few targets before it gets too late, because I'm at work early on a Thursday. So that's unfortunate at the moment. All gone red, so not a lot I can do about that. One of the few things out of my control. Right. I think I'm going to call it, because we're not going to pull anything through that. We can't even pull many stars through, even if I zoom in. We can see stars, but they're the brighter ones. And galaxies are very faint at the best of times. Shall see what happens when this gets to 25 seconds. No. Can't even pick the shape up through the clouds. Cigar Galaxy is quite easy to pick out, and sometimes you can, through light cloud you can pull it through, but unfortunately this evening is not one of those times. Right, well, I think we're going to have to end it on a sad note that we've not seen anything of any significance, and I'll try again Wednesday evening. According to that weather forecast, Wednesday evening is going to be the next opportunity. If anything comes up in the meantime, I'll start a stream at really short notice, and just make sure you've got that bell icon ticked so you get early notification. As always, if you want to chat to me when I'm not streaming, please have a look at the Discord server and catch me on there, because if I'm not necessarily, here it is, look, missed it, because if I'm not actively streaming, I may be actually doing some astronomy in the daytime on solar disk, so having a look at the sun. I'm going to call it at that. So I can't say if you like what you see, because we've not seen anything, but if you want to have a go at the next opportunity of clear skies, subscribe, give it a like, although there wasn't a lot to like this evening apart from clouds, and stay tuned. Wednesday night looks like it might be the nearest opportunity, and we'll be using the same setup, the same camera, and hopefully seeing a little bit more than just grey clouds. So on that sad note, I'll say good night.